What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich. I am here and football is officially back. Today I'll be breaking down the Thursday night football game between the Rams and the Bills. Super excited for this matchup. I feel like I've been waiting forever for football to be back. We're going to be talking props, spreads, bets, totals, all kinds of stuff on this segment. I'll be doing it weekly. I'll probably be doing a show or two at least on the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jordan Richards. I am, content creator for Destination Devy under Ray GQ. We do a show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Wake Up with Ray G. We'll talk betting, we'll talk fantasy. So depending on what you're into, all kinds of avenues for you. I will also be doing some bets and picks for college football. But today we are going to be talking about Thursday night football, Bills and Rams. So many different ways this game could go. There's so many different avenues to take in this matchup. Battle of the Titans, Bills, number one team right now for Super Bowl odds. Obviously, Rams defending champions in LA, massive spectacle. But where are we going for the actual bets? Now, I have the Rams on the money line. I think I'm happy to take the home dog at plus money. I get the Bills hype. I understand people want to take them and what they could do this season. But I just believe the Rams are the better team. I believe playing at home, they're going to be playing with a ton of energy. I think the Bills, they're going to be ready, and they looked phenomenal in the preseason. But I'm just going to be betting on the talent that the Rams have. I think they're going to get it done in this matchup. So I'm taking I'm taking the Rams on the money line at plus 110. If you like that, I think it's a great bet. But what I was looking more into was the player props, right? And the actual breakdown of this game. There's a lot of different ways this game could go, but I think the biggest thing that I want to highlight in this video, and while it's a small sample, people need to realize that a lot of these things haven't really changed for both these teams. These teams played in 2020. The game was 35-32 for the Buffalo Bills, so they did win that matchup against the Rams. Now, of course, that was the Jared Goff-led Rams, not the Matthew Stafford-led Rams. But from an actual game script perspective, both Jared Goff and Josh Allen went over 300 yards. Josh Allen threw 4 touchdowns, Jared Goff threw 2. Both of them threw an interception. But it really comes down to more for me is what happened with the running backs and the receivers, because that's where everyone's looking. Everyone wants Gabe Davis is over. Everyone wants Stephon Diggs is over. Everyone wants over. But especially on the Rams side, I think we're going to see a lot more running in this matchup from the Rams. Everyone thinks they're going to pass the ball a ton. They got Allen Robinson, they got Cooper Kupp, but they ran the ball over 30 times last time they played the Bills. And I don't think the Bills front is any better 2 years ago than it is this year. And while it may be slightly improved, I think the Rams at the end of the day are going to want to establish the run, and they have the talent to do that. And that's why one of my first bets I'm placing is Darrell Henderson. Now, Darrell Henderson right now is projected to be the backup to Cam Akers. And while I understand the hype for Cam Akers, I'm very excited to watch him play, I just don't think that's going to be the case. Darrell Henderson was in a timeshare last year. He was more the lead of the timeshare, but he got double-digit carries in his first 8 games. And while he's projected to be the backup in this matchup, in my opinion, it's going to be much closer to a 50-50 split. Cam Akers is the one who apparently isn't running in practice and is a little bit hobbled and isn't quite there yet, but the books have him as the lead back, and I just don't believe that that's going to be the case. His line right now is only 30 yards. If you think he can get over 30 yards, minus 115, easy money, right? There's no reason why he can't get over 30 yards, especially if he does get more carries. Now, if you want to go the other route and go the carrier route, you can get his over 7.5 carries at plus 110. I have both the bets locked, and I think both are great bets. I just believe that there's a world where Darrell Henderson gets 10-plus carries in this matchup, especially if the fact that Cam Akers isn't all the way back, isn't quite where the Rams want him to be. I think that he could easily go over this number. Both guys were banged up. Both of them were struggling at times, but it's Henderson, the one who's been fully in practice, playing in these games. Over the long term, yes, I prefer Cam Akers, but in this matchup, I'm going to be going with Darrell Henderson over 7.5 carries or over 29.5 rushing yards. It's 30.5 on some books. I think both numbers are great. And I know our partners over at MySparry, who we do use some of their data for our analysis, I believe have them projected for over 40 yards and 9.5 carries. So again, also believe that it will be more of a timeshare between Cam Akers and between Darrell Henderson. And on top of that, I think they are going to run more than they're projected to on top of that. Now, on the other side of the ball, talking about the receivers, talking about all the guys that everyone wants, the Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. I understand you want those guys. I get it. But they had those guys when they played the Rams 2 years ago. On top of that, Josh Allen did throw over 300 yards. But the guy he was throwing the ball to was Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley's the one who had 6 receptions and 100 yards. He didn't score a touchdown, but he led the Bills in receiving in that game, and part of it has to do with the coverage. So I was talking to Jordan Vanek of the 33rd team about this data that he was looking at, and basically he explained it to me like this. The Rams play a lot of zone defense, and when they zone blitz, which I believe he said was 21% of the time on defense, Josh Allen has one of the lowest yards per attempt in the NFL amongst qualified passers. I believe the number was 20th out of 20. And it's not to say that he's bad, but what he's going to do, he's going to get the ball out quick to the slot receiver. Now, I'm talking about Isaiah McKenzie or Jamison Crowder here. I think what we all expect is it to be Isaiah McKenzie. We project him to be the starter and Crowder to be more the backup. And if that's the case and that kind of plays itself out, you're looking at a guy who can easily go over his projected prop right now, which is around 34.5, 32.5 on some books. Some don't even have it out yet because they're wondering about his health, but he practiced on Monday. He should be practicing over the next few days. I think all signs point to him playing on Thursday, and if he's the starter on Thursday, I think there's a really good shot he goes over. You talk about, what they have outside, and while Jalen Ramsey's probably not going to travel with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, we'll see how he does on the outside, obviously looking to make a massive step forward. But Isaiah McKenzie should still be a guy who is heavily targeted in this matchup because that's what the defense has dictated to these teams. The slot receiver is the one who can really get it done against the Rams. The Rams run that bend, don't break style of defense, and you can move the ball through the slot, and I believe Isaiah McKenzie is the one that can do that. And so for me, you look at his line right now, it's not out everywhere, but 34.5 to me, I think is the highest line, and I still think it's a very good number you can get. So we're waiting for that one to come out. Look for the best line in that regard. I believe Caesars has it. I believe FanDuel has it at 34.5. And in my opinion, it's just too low. I think there's a world where he could easily get 50. I know that at my spar, he's projected, or they have Jamison Crowder projected as the lead, which in my opinion isn't quite there. But, that slot guy, whoever it is in this matchup, whoever starts the game is going to be the guy who probably goes over their prop. And in my opinion, that's Isaiah McKenzie. So I would be taking that bet. And on top of that, I also like Isaiah McKenzie over 16.5 for his longest reception. Now, in that same game, Cole Beasley had a 28-yard reception. Isaiah McKenzie, we know, is a speed threat, a guy who can take the ball down the field quickly and gain a lot of yardage. So while, you could take the Gabe Davis over and he caught a 40-yard pass in that game, you could take the Stephon Diggs over like 23.5, 26.5, whatever it is. I think Isaiah McKenzie is really a savvy play because if we're going to play the game script out, where will be a lot of the slot receiver, a lot of them, dinking and dunking some quick passes in the game. I believe that that's the world where the narrative that you want to play. And if you're going to play that narrative, you might as well take the over on Isaiah McKenzie's longest reception. So we're talking about two different sides of the ball here. We're talking about Darrell Henderson and how we expect the Rams to run the ball more than people are kind of projecting, and especially run it with Darrell Henderson over Cam Akers. And on the other side, we're expecting a heavy dose of the slot receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And so to me, I think that's kind of how the game could play out. I think it starts slow early, then see the fireworks in the second half once these teams get used to it, playing in these game environments. Obviously, it's going to be bumping in LA, so it's going to be loud, and they'll probably have to do a lot of silent count for Buffalo. But I just believe that that's kind of how it's going to play out. And so those are the bets I'm taking right now. For me, I think the best bets are the yardage bets. So Darrell Henderson over 29.5, I think is a great bet. That's the one I would take. I also like the rushing yards. Like I said, I have both. But if you wanted to pick one, I think the rushing yards is the better bet personally. And then Isaiah McKenzie, same situation. I would be taking the over on the yardage, whatever the best number is that you can get. Not every book has it out right now. But once he's in for sure, announced the starter, those numbers will come out and you take the best one. And the last one I want to talk about is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson now on the Rams. I believe that he is a massive ceiling this season, and honestly could have one of the best seasons he's ever had in the NFL. Now, it may not be quite as good as that Jacksonville season when he scored, I believe, double-digit touchdowns, had over 1,200 yards, because he does have stuff to play with Cooper Kupp, but I don't really necessarily believe that we're going to see much worse usage than we've seen in the past from Allen Robinson, now playing in that Sean McVay style of system. I just think it's going to be great. And so I'm not taking full credit for this play. I have to give credit to the Action Network's Gilles Gallant, one of my dear friends in the industry. He's going to be doing a touchdown show. He is the touchdown god, G-God, if you are familiar with him, as I'm sure you are. If you're not, follow him. I will put the link to his Twitter in the description. But he'll be doing a show for the Action Network, and he has Allen Robinson to score a touchdown at plus 155 on FanDuel. I love the bet. I think there's a great shot. We saw what they did with Odell Beckham when he got there in LA. They wanted to get him the ball in the red zone, that red zone usage, and I believe they will do the same thing with Allen Robinson. So at plus 155, I think it's worth a bet to make on on Allen Robinson. Now, all these bets I'm talking about, they're 1-unit bets. We will track them throughout the season. And so that's kind of where I'm looking at with this game. I'm super excited for Thursday Night Football. I'm so excited to finally get football all Sunday. I will do another video for some more bets for Sunday night, and then probably one maybe for Monday as well. And I will put out some college football bets on top of that. But as always, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter for more bets. I may post some free plays over there as well. And if you tail, give them hell. And if we fail, do not bail. I'll be back with more bets. Tune in Friday morning for my show with Ray Garvin when we do the entire slate breakdown, and we'll talk all the different things we're talking about: game script, bets, our favorite games of the week, starts of the week, the fantasy stuff that we love to do on top of some of the betting. So make sure you tap in for that. It's going to be a fun week, fun season. I'm excited to ride with you guys all season long. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys a little bit later. I'm out. Peace.